morning, everybody out there. So how are you? Today is the first day of the 7th day lockdown in Melbourne because we've had a number of COVID clusters and it's only for 7 days. So I thought what I would do, rather than, because you can't really go anywhere, so there are no real adventures today. I've just been for a run. I made some coffee. So today we've got coffee from Wood & Co, which you can buy from my favorite coffee brewers, Black Flat. And these are Colombian beans roasted in Melbourne. And apparently it's got a cherry conserve maple syrupy note to it. So what we'll be doing as well is we'll be using the AeroPress. I'm going to make coffee for 2 people, and what I'm going to do with AeroPress is I'm going to use the inverse technique, which I learned from good old Jordan from Black Flat. Okay, so when you buy an AeroPress kit, it comes with all kinds of stuff. So this little spoon, 2 heat teaspoons of that would make fairly decent coffee for about 3 people. So we'll get our kettle on a boil. And really important to note that don't overboil the water, because it'll burn the beans. So that's really important. Now, if there was smell-o-vision, that just smells pretty amazing. Okay, so while I was waiting for the water to come to boil, what I've got would be the strainer with a paper filter. Really important as well to soak the filter in water, or at least wet it, otherwise you get this real papery taste, which is not the greatest. So what I normally do is I put it in there and I just pour a couple of drops of hot water on it, which does the trick. What I've got as well is a little measuring cup here to extract the brew. Okay, so I've just wet my paper filter. Now with the AeroPress kit, you've got a few numbers here, if you can see it. So what I normally do is I fill the water right up to the last number. Just like that. And give it about 10 stirs. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can do 9, you can do 9.5, you can do 11, it doesn't really matter. And what normally happens is after you stir the coffee, you'll find that the water level kind of comes down a little bit, which happens as the water kind of mixes with the beans. And if you are getting beans roasted from your favorite baristas, tell them that to grind it for an AeroPress. I've been told that you can get a coffee grinder, but the grind's fairly inconsistent. So what we're going to do now is wait for about a minute. Okay, so we've come to about a minute. What I'm going to do is to take that. All the beans should have been infused, and I'm just going to invert it into my little, what should we call these things? Receptacles. Okay, now they say that for two spoonfuls of coffee, it's a good press is about a 20-30 second press. And right towards the end, you're going to hear like a bubbling sound, which is pressure. So let's just go for it. take your time. Good things take time, as they say. Can you hear that? Okay, that's about perfect. So some of you might ask, so what's a good thing to do with the used coffee beans? Well, what we actually do is we put it into our compost. Apparently the worms love it. And for those out there who love worms, maybe deep fried worms with smelling of coffee. Okay, so that's our little extraction. So what I'm going to do is just fill it with water. And that should be good for about 2 cups of, I suppose it's not a short black anymore. It's not a long black. I'm going to call it a medium black. That's it. So if you can have a look at this, it's got a nice little brown caramelly color to this. It's a real nice hint of good beans. I'm not sure about the maple syrup. Let's have a taste. That's really nice, guys. Leaves a nice aftertaste on the palate. So Melburnians during lockdown, even Singaporeans, go get yourself some good coffee, and yeah, take life a little bit slow over the next 7 days. Have a good one. Bye bye.